SEO consultant and web strategist. He specializes in inbound marketing and international SEO. And just to remind you again, if you have any questions, make sure to ask them in the chat, because right after Gianluca's presentation, Gianluca and Bartosz will both join me live. For about 20 minutes, they'll be answering as many of your submitted questions as I can. So I can't wait for that. So let's get the next presentation going. Here's Gianluca.
Thank you. Thank you again for your kind words. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everybody. It's a real pleasure for me to stay here with you. And okay, I'm Gianluca, as you know already, an international SEO and digital marketing consultant since 2004. And I have the pleasure to work with many brands from all over the world. But let's go further, because we have only 20 minutes and I would love really to share many things with you. So at the end of this talk, you will bring home these 3 main keywords. As you can see, that image and visual is the most natural way of searching, but image search and also visual search is not only alt tags. And in the case of image SEO, as SEO in general, but especially of image and visual SEO, the devil really is in the details. And I hope you will have understood the why of this talk. As I say here, many SEO underestimate the power of image and visual search. Try not to be both SEO and try not to lose the traffic and especially the conversion that image and visual search can drive you. Image and visual is the most natural way of searching for things and answers, as I was saying in the takeaways, because our brain works visually. The same fact, the same writing started with substantially drawing image that became symbols, and from symbol they became letters and vocals and consonant and what we know as the alphabet. But if we want to be more practical, let's see why Amazon promotes visual search. Visual search, it says, Amazon is perfect for shoppers who face 2 common dilemmas. I don't know what I want, but I know it when I see it. A classic example can be the smartphones. Before Steve Jobs showed us the iPhone, nobody really was thinking or desiring to buy a smartphone. Second, I know what I want, but I don't know what it's called. This is very common. Just think when you go, let's say, to an hardware store, and for instance, you have to buy a screw. But what kind of screw? I usually resolve the problem going with the screw I want to buy with me and showing to a clerk and say, I need few of these. I don't know you. But resources would be surely be of help in cases like this one. However, when it comes to visual search, we must be conscious that it's harder for a machine than voice search, as Clay Baber here explained well. And okay, so if you are not convinced yet, try to listen to this cool guy, Hannibal Lecter. In the Silence of the Lambs, he was saying this really, really important phrase. We begin by coveting what we see every day, and don't your eyes seek out the things you want. Let's think it. It's not just for serial killer, it's for everybody in every daily situation. Moreover, studies like this one that I'm showing to you are presenting us that visual search is something that the younger generation use already quite a lot. Also, this other study, which is a little bit older, it should be eventually updated, even tell us that visual search is considered more relevant than more talk about channels like, for instance, as you can see at the bottom, live chat messaging or substantially digital assistant or chatbots. And obviously, the crisis we are all living oblige us to pay more attention to everything visual, also search. People can't go or cannot stay too long in a shop now, and e-commerce is reaching a new height in many sectors. As image search for e-commerce is becoming really, really of pressing importance right now. So, who is investing on visual search? Big brands, for sure, but not only fashion. For instance, Conforama, Wayfair, Idealista, IKEA, all these are not fashion. Wayfair, Conforama, and IKEA are furniture and decoration. Idealista is a Spanish multinational real estate website. If you think of visual search as a product, as a feature to offer to your user in your website or mobile application, the market is plenty of opportunity to start to create a product like this. But if you're an SEO, who is investing on visual search too? Search engines, marketplaces, and visual social networks surely are investing a lot on visual search and visual and image search. Google, Bing, but also Pinterest was the first one, Amazon, eBay. And why? Why all these search engine, marketplaces, and social networks are investing on visual search? Because visual search creates a new space for researchers based on visual association. And because visual search can lead to conversion with just one click from the image to the cart, eliminating passages, therefore eliminating the risk of losing conversion. I have just, let's say, 13 minutes. So I will only talk about Google, even if it would be wonderful to talk about also Pinterest, Bing, what eBay or Amazon or other big players are doing. But Google it's a good one. It wasn't the first one investing in visual search, but as it was the case, remember, before came iPhone with iOS, and then came Android. And now we know what mobile system is the leader, is Android. So the same is happening with visual search. Google started later, and it's especially start incorporating things that were discovered and experimented first by others, especially by Pinterest, but is really, really going really fast on this track of visual search. And obviously, Google is the place where us marketers can find more opportunities. In the past, Google was just about image search, if we think about visual. The present is seeing emerging more stronger between image search, classic image search, and visual search. Not really the future, because it's a present that is already here. Visual search is going to be part of a bigger concept of conversational search, where we will have visual, voice search, and traditional textual search all working together on a multi-device ecosystem. If you are a nerd, you can go on Google Patent and go seeing what are the patents that have been granted to Google for both Google Image for image and visual. Google Image, moreover, as studies like this one by Ryan Fishkin are shown to be a big provider of clicks and traffic to website. So here it is. This is the vertical of Google image. How it works. When we do a search, for instance, oversized sunglasses, we can see first these tags. These tags are entities related to oversized sunglasses, for instance, women's, for instance, aviator, which is a subtype, let's say, a specific entity of sunglasses. But also, let's say, attribute or characteristic related to this main entity, which is oversized glasses. An example is black. Then we have shopping, and then we have the organic search. Oh, one thing about the tags. The tags are wonderful for entity search, as I was already saying. And they work somehow as people also ask. You can click on if you click on a tag and then go back to the first original tag, Google expands the number of tags available. And so you can substantially create and obtain a very, very large list of related entities for your search. But let's go return directly to visual search, in this case, image search. Also in desktop, you can see images that are labeled with an icon, and as you move up and you see product. If we click on this image, we have a preview. And the preview in image search of product are much richer, very much richer than the search result in universal search. What do we have to do? In mobile, this is more evident. You see here the label with products. And how can we have it? We first must have markup with schema.org products, the paid product page. And obviously, we must have tagged also the image. Image is required for products rich snippet. And on mobile, Google also allows, as you can see from the icon, to create collection. So we can surf image search results and save the image that are inspiring us or that we want to look after more quietly into this collection. So we can save them and search them. People can reach the collection quite easily because every time you open the Google application on your mobile, you will show an icon saying when you are in a Google image, reminding you that you have collection. So you can decide then to open this collection, which are available also in Google Photo. Also, you can open them also from the Google application of Google. Organic shopping, as you can see on mobile, the preview are occupying all the screen. And this is the same. I mean, they're coming from search, they're coming from a collection in Google Photo. The preview of the search results is always occupying all the screen. Why? Because Google Image has been designed especially for mobile searches. How can we evaluate opportunities if we have an e-commerce? Okay, I'm using here SEMrush, but every tool that tracks SERP features like href, mods, or stats can be used, obviously. In this case, you can, if you have a project, you can go to your project, go to position tracking, and then search, filtering what keywords are having, see the presence of an image box. Or if you are, let's say, scouting, doing competitive search, you can go on organic research, check position, and filter to show only the SERP with the image box, and not only image box. The the keywords that presents in the SERPs, both image box and especially shopping or other kind of AdWords. These keywords are the one that have the biggest opportunity, offer the biggest opportunity of visual shopping. So the one for which you should really optimize your website. However, image is not only Google image. Images are key in rich results. Let's say news, AMP, they are required. No AMP recommended, but substantially required. Then event, how-to, live streaming, local business for restaurants, logo, obviously, film or movie, products, as we have seen, receipt, video. But as I was anticipating, the devil is in the details. If we go to the product specification, we can see that Google suggests us that image should be at least 1,200 pixels wide. This is not a coincidence, but also Google is also suggesting us that if we want to really perform well on Discover, we should use large high-quality images that are at least 1,200 pixels wide. Remember, everything is connected in the world of Google. Again, devil is in the details. Image URLs must be crawlable and indexable. And pay attention to all the things that you can use and indicate in the XML's image sitemap. However, going back here, remember that we can also embed the image information in the normal XML sitemap. Tools we like Screaming Frog or Sitemap can help us doing it. Then go check all the guidelines in the Google search gallery, because images are very, very different characteristics from rich result to rich results. But images are not just image box or rich results. They are present in the knowledge graph. They are present especially in the feature snippet, and try to pay attention to own your image, to have your image in your feature snippet and not to have. And then later we also start having popular products. Popular products was announced in January, but tested live before, as I experienced. Popular product is the practical visualization of what Google calls as surfaces across Google. And you can have it. You can have it for apparels and fashion products, going on Google Merchant and setting up a feed. The feed requires a link, a URL for the image. Image search for SEO, easy. Just click the image file name, obviously, the alt text, alt tag, which is still the most relevant factor, caption, image description, image XML sitemap, as I was saying before. The content surrounding the image must be consistent with the image itself. This is really important because many times what we can call as the meta description of the image search result is taken from this content surrounding the image and not from the actual meta description in the code. And then remember this? This substantially can be defined as Google Lens. Google Lens is a pervasive application. Not only exists on its own, but as for instance voice search, but it's another functionality in Google Search, Google Photo, and Google Assistant. How it works? With a phone, Google Lens, you can point to a product and search for it directly on Google. For instance, here I was pointing to a box of a Game Workshop Lord of the Rings product. You can also select content written words and copy paste these words substantially and search. Use this word for search, do a search on Google. Obviously, from here we can substantially arrive to a product page on in e-commerce, but we can also end in this kind of results that we are seeing on the right. And you can see tiendas. Tiendas is shop in Spanish. So from a wizard search, we can also end up into substantially local search, which is really interesting. Obviously, being embedded into Google search, Lens is also fantastic for inspiration, investigation. So for instance, here I saw this wonderful chair, I frame it, and Google Lens is telling me what are these products. It's a strand mount, clearly IKEA. What I can do, I found a product in a more generic image. I loved it. Search it with Google Lens. Google Lens is telling me what is a product, and from this research, I go directly to the product page and can buy it. Remember what Amazon was saying. Then, visual search SEO, how can do it? Easily. Everything we have said before for image search is valid. Then, structured data, respecting all the indication, radio, dimension, quality. Quality images must be are key in our case. Why quality image are key? Because image search algorithm, image recognition algorithms are not perfect yet. And the worse the image is, the quality of the image, the worse the ability of the algorithm to recognize what is portrayed in this image. But obviously, we also must remember to optimize this image for page speed. We have to find a good balance between high quality and page speed. Here in this link, you can find a fantastic guide about how to optimize image for page speed. Regarding this, what about WebP? WebP could be an idea. The problem is that WebP is not considered for structured data. So follow this suggestion from John Mueller. Visual search also asks to avoid mess. Again, the messy the image, the photo, the messy, the most confused can be the algorithm in recognizing an object. Then if you're using stock photos, modify them to make them unique. You will understand really fast why. Republish all your image or following visual social network, for instance, Pinterest. And remember, internal and external links have a value also for image and visual search. Not for things like PageRank, not at all. No, it's not for this. It's because of this. The more pages use your image, the better Google is able to tag this image with entities related, thanks to all the content that is finding, Google is finding surrounding this image. And the better understand Google an image, the better you can tag it with entities and related entities, as we can see here. And so the more it will be visible and in image search. So image and visual search are the most natural search. It's not only alt tags, and remember, the devil is in the details. Don't be the classic SEO that ignore or underestimate the power of image and visual search and go earn that traffic. Thank you.
All right, and here they are, Bartosz, Gianluca, welcome back. Great presentations. by both of you. So thanks so much for that. We've had a ton of questions come in. We've got about 10 minutes. So I want to try and squeeze as many in as we can. Bartosz, let's start with you. We had a few questions I noticed on WordPress JavaScript optimization. I was wondering, is there anything you wanted to sort of talk about there? Do you have any tips for those people?
So I won't give you, Gianluca, it's the other way. I won't give you anything super specific, because with WordPress we usually rely on the themes, and a lot of themes within WordPress, especially with like WooCommerce and whatever, they use quite a lot of JavaScript. So you will see more and more of that. So basically, if you want to play with that, you can go to 1.ly/wwjd. So what would JavaScript do? So 1.ly/wwjd, and you can go and basically see if JavaScript is changing either your metadata, your title, anything that's actually important. Obviously, also have a look at 2 screenshots showing your content side by side. So like, I don't think we should be talking about WordPress right now as just like one platform, because there are so many options you can optimize. So yeah, just to keep it short, have a look into your specific setup, because those themes can change quite a lot.
Right. Okay. Sounds good. All right. For Gianluca, we had a question from Sunny. What kind of third-party citations to images add weight to image rankings on Google? Is there anything?
Well, yes. As when I was saying in the last part of the presentation, I was surely suggesting to repurpose all the image in website, like for instance Pinterest. Where, for instance, Pinterest is a really good place where you can repurpose your image. Once, because it's a really strong visual social network, and there are proof that it is not dead at all. And you can substantially recreate a visual version of your e-commerce there, and start earning also conversion directly from Pinterest. But the good of Pinterest is that Google scroll it a lot. In the last update of the 4th of May, or May the 4th, we saw how well Pinterest reacted to the algorithm. And this is good, because so, as I was saying before, how you well did Pinterest SEO, let's call it so, the better the image are tagged and recognized. And they are clearly from you. So this is a good way. And then there is a very old classic link building tactics related to image, which is substantially to not be greedy and offer your image as an image bank with whatever Creative Commons license you want to offer, and the one with crediting the source of the image. For instance, if you have a big e-commerce in fashion and you offer to all the bloggers, influencers, from smaller to bigger, biggest one, the opportunity to use your image with a credit link to the page where it is hosted. So this is also another way to not only earning links in this to your image or to the page hosting your image, but also to create an entity connection between the 2 websites. So these usually are, I cannot tell you what is a good site for citation for image with a name and surname, but I can tell you that these tactics surely works.
Okay. All right, Bartosz, let's jump back to you for a second. What's actually a best, this comes from Omar, by the way. What's a best practice for avoiding or at least mitigating damage from partial rendering when someone doesn't want to get rid of the content that's on the site, no matter how heavy it is for Googlebot?
So first of all, logically, this question doesn't add up, because that's not the problem of the content that's heavy. And I think we need to clarify that. You can have an ebook on your website, like content-wise. You can have, I don't know, 10,000 words, and that's okay. That's not really the problem for the Googlebot. Actually, not for the Googlebot, but for the batch optimized rendering service or WRS, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is that with how you should be creating websites, we need to avoid all of those extra scripting and all of this logic behind that. So a lot of developers, we all know how difficult it is to get good developers, and like any developers, they are basically one of the most expensive resource. And usually we try to optimize their work a little bit too much, and we deploy code that's not optimal. So we end up with something that works, but at the same time, if you're not using an iPhone, but you're gonna have a slower device, it's gonna be very slow. So there are a lot of problems, and all of the partial rendering, partial indexing problems, not all, most of the ones that are somehow related to websites load, they come from very bad deployment, from all this so-called spaghetti code, or websites that basically need 5, 6, 7 seconds of scripting to show all of the content.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a whole other topic, and I don't want to geek out too much, but if you struggle with indexing your content, it's I would first of all go to the developers and ask them, do you guys have web performance budgets? Like, this would be the first question. Like, if your company is working with a dev team, they should have web performance budgets. They should know this amount of code is too much. And most companies, they don't have that. So it basically goes into what Martin was saying in the first presentation, because regardless of how it might look, we are very much in line with Martin with our message.
Mm-hmm.
You need to communicate that with your developers. You need to make sure that it's simple. So this problem is going to be visible on slower mobiles, slower computers. It's going to be visible in your Chrome Chrome user experience report. So this is not only an indexing issue. This is basically how you build your website.
Gotcha.
I said I'm not gonna geek out.
If I can add just a note, this is why Google is always presenting you the metrics, showing you on 3G, because we always think that we all have a 4G or even 5G, but the vast majority of the people in the world barely reach 3G. So this is something that we, as an SEO and also as people who help developer creating really wonderful website, should remember.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we're running out of time, but I wanted to have one more question for you, Gianluca. This sounded perfect for you. It's sort of a question on internationalizing image names. So if you have all your images named in English when they appear in multiple country sites in different languages, how should you sort of approach that for localizing your images?
Well, this is quite a common question. Let's say when I was saying about doing the checklist of image SEO points, surely the name of an image is an important factor, but not so important to oblige you to localize even the image file name. It is logical to think that being the alt text or alt tag, the most important SEO factor for image, and you have your site in Spanish, French, German, and the alt text is always in English, that is not good. Also remember that the alt text, the alt tag, is not just for SEO, it's also for usability. And it's literally read by browser for Ampere user. So imagine if it is reading everything in German and all of a sudden there is an image of a wonderful bird flying in the Alps in English. Mm-hmm. Wouldn't have made much sense. So yes, at least the alt text should be localized.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, unfortunately, we're out of time for Q&A. Thanks to both of you for the awesome sessions, and maybe you guys can stick around a little bit more and answer any more questions you might see in the chat for people who we didn't get to. But yeah, thanks again, guys. And right now we're going to take a 20-minute break, so everyone has a chance to go do some networking and visit our expo booths. And all you have to do that is click on the networking or expo icon on the left side of your screen. Then after that, we'll be back here to hear from Hamlet Batista and Aleda Solis. So looking forward to that. So we'll be back soon. Thanks,
Have fun.